Nobody over 60 wants to look like they are trying to look younger. That is the trap that catches most men who want to improve how they look. The fear that any effort in that direction will produce exactly the opposite effect. The man who wears something too youthful, the man who dyes his hair too dark, the man who tries to dress like someone half his age and instead looks like a man half his age's father, trying very hard to seem otherwise. This video is not about any of that. It is about something different. Something that most men over 60 have not been told clearly, that the changes which make the biggest difference to how old you look have almost nothing to do with looking younger and everything to do with looking sharper, cleaner, more defined, more intentional. And the interesting thing about those qualities is that they produce a younger impression as a side effect, without any of the telltale signs of effort that make the attempt visible. A man who looks sharp after 60 does not look like a man trying to look 45. He looks like a man of 60 who is completely in control of how he presents himself. And that control, that sense of a man who has not let things slide, who pays attention, who makes decisions rather than accepting defaults, is what registers to other people as vitality, as energy. As a man who is 10 years younger than the man standing next to him, who has the same amount of grey hair and the same number of lines on his face, but none of the intention. This channel is about classic menswear, timeless style, and the practical grooming and style decisions that help men over 60 look their best. Today we are going through the specific changes in fit, in color, in grooming, in small details that produce the largest visible impact on how old a man appears. None of them require buying a new wardrobe. None of them require a cosmetic procedure. None of them require pretending to be someone you are not. They require only attention and a few deliberate decisions. The single biggest contributor to looking older than you are is fit, not style, not color, not grooming, fit. Because when clothes do not fit correctly, they draw attention to exactly the things that age a man: the softening of the torso, the changing of the shoulder line, the way the body has shifted over decades. Loose clothes do not hide these changes, they amplify them. A shirt that bags at the waist makes the waist look wider. Trousers that are too long make the legs look shorter. A jacket whose shoulders sit too wide makes the shoulders look narrower. Every fit problem creates a visual impression that is older, heavier, and less defined than the man actually is. The fix does not require buying entirely new clothes. It requires assessing what you already own and identifying which pieces are working against your frame rather than with it. A shirt should follow the natural line of the torso without excess fabric at the sides. A jacket shoulder seam should sit precisely at the shoulder point, not dropping off the edge. Trousers should end with a single clean break at the top of the shoe, not stacking or dragging. And if the fit of a piece can be corrected by a tailor for less than the cost of a replacement, the tailor is always the right first call. If you're finding this useful, subscribe to the channel and stay with me until the end, because the next few changes are the small grooming and style details that can add or remove years from your appearance without you realizing it. Fit that works with the body rather than against it creates a cleaner silhouette, and a cleaner silhouette on a man of any age immediately reads as more energetic, more present, and more in control. The years that wrong fit adds are not added by age, they are added by fabric in the wrong place. The second factor is color, specifically the colors that are worn closest to the face. This is an area where many men over 60 are unknowingly working against themselves every day without realizing it. As skin tone changes with age, becoming slightly less saturated, sometimes slightly more yellow or gray in undertone, the colors that worked well against the face at 40 may no longer work at all at 60. They can make the face look flat, tired, or washed out in ways that add apparent years without any other change. The colors that work best near the face for most men over 60 are the ones that create a clean, clear contrast with the skin and hair, rather than blending into them. Crisp white and pale blue are the strongest shirt colors for almost all skin tones after 60. They reflect light upward toward the face, creating brightness around the eyes and jawline. Navy and dark charcoal as jacket or knitwear colors frame the face with enough depth to make the features read clearly against them. There is a specific color trap that many men over 60 fall into without realizing it: the mid-tone neutrals worn close to the face. A camel turtleneck, a warm beige polo, a mid-tan crewneck. These colors have their place in the wardrobe, but not as the collar-level layer. When a warm mid-tone sits directly against an aging skin tone, it creates a blending effect. The skin and the fabric move toward each other tonally, and the face loses definition. The jaw looks less defined. The eye area reads as flatter. The overall impression ages by several years from this one mistake alone. The colors to approach carefully are those that sit too close to the skin tone, washed-out beige, certain warm khakis, mid-gray, and those that drain the face of color through their own intensity. The principle is simple. If a color makes the face look tired in the mirror, it is making the face look tired to everyone else too. The third factor is the one most men associate with youth, but most often get wrong when they try to address it: grooming. Specifically, the relationship between hair and beard, and whether either is being managed with deliberate attention or simply allowed to continue in whatever direction they have been going for the last several years. Turn on notifications so you don't miss more practical style advice for men over 60. And tell me in the comments, which area do you think affects your appearance most right now? Fit, color, grooming, skin, or posture? Overgrown eyebrows are one of the most consistent and most overlooked contributors to looking older than necessary. As men age, eyebrow hair often grows longer, thicker, and less uniform, extending beyond the natural brow line, growing at different angles, sometimes developing longer individual hairs that catch the light and draw attention upward away from the eyes. Trimming eyebrows to a clean, natural shape takes less than 2 minutes and immediately opens the face, makes the eyes look more awake, and creates a more defined, more youthful impression without any appearance of effort. Ear hair and nose hair, which become more prominent with age, carry a similar and equally immediate impact. These are not vanity concerns. They are the kind of detail that other people register at a level below conscious attention, but that contribute directly to the overall impression of whether a man takes care of himself. A man who trims these consistently looks cleaner and more deliberate, an impression that reads directly as more vital. The haircut is equally significant. Grey hair that is overgrown, shapeless, or yellowed ages the face by softening the outline around it. The face loses definition when the hair surrounding it has none. A shorter, structured haircut that sits cleanly around the face and at the neck creates the same effect a well-fitted jacket creates for the body. It defines the frame and makes everything within that frame read more clearly. And clear, defined features read as younger than obscured, softened ones. Skin is the fourth factor, and the one men most consistently ignore entirely. The appearance of the skin contributes more to perceived age than almost any individual style decision. This does not mean expensive serums or complicated routines. It means 3 things applied consistently: a gentle face wash morning and evening to remove the accumulated surface material that makes skin look dull, a moisturizer applied after washing to maintain the surface hydration that keeps skin looking alive rather than papery, and SPF during the day. Sun exposure is the single largest environmental contributor to visible aging of the skin, and a basic SPF moisturizer costs very little and delivers a compounding improvement over months and years. There is one additional skin detail that most men never consider, but that has an immediate visible impact: the texture of the skin around the eyes. The skin in this area is the thinnest on the face and the first to show dryness, fine lines, and puffiness. A small amount of eye cream applied morning and evening takes 15 seconds and specifically addresses this area. The result over time: reduced puffiness, better texture, less pronounced fine lines, reads as one of the most direct improvements to perceived age available without any professional intervention. Most men who begin using eye cream consistently notice visible improvement within 3 to 4 weeks. Men who begin this 4-step skincare routine consistently will see visible improvement in the quality of their skin within 6 to 8 weeks. The skin looks cleaner, smoother, and more alive, and the face that sits within clean, well-groomed hair and above a well-fitted collar looks significantly younger than the same face sitting within shapeless hair above a baggy shirt with unattended skin. The 5th factor is the one that ties all of the others together, and the one that is most immediately visible when it is present or absent: posture. A man who stands tall with his shoulders back and his chin level looks younger, stronger, and more present than the same man with rounded shoulders and a slightly forward-tilting head. Not because posture is a style decision, it is not, but because the impression that good posture creates of energy, of physical command, of a man who is not diminished, is exactly the impression that most of the style decisions in this video are working toward. Posture is not something most men can simply decide to change and maintain through willpower, but there are practical supports. Clothes that fit correctly encourage better posture because they create a sense of structure that slouching immediately disrupts. A well-fitted jacket on a man who slouches feels wrong in a way that encourages correction. Shoes with a clean, thin sole, rather than a thick, soft, athletic sole, create a different physical relationship with the ground, one that tends to encourage a more upright stance. And awareness, simply the knowledge that posture is the most visible of all these factors, is itself one of the most practical tools. Here is the summary of what produces the younger impression without the appearance of effort. Fit that follows the natural frame rather than fighting it or hiding it. Colors near the face that create contrast and brightness rather than blending and flatness. Grooming that is deliberate rather than default, specifically the eyebrows, the ear and nose hair, the haircut and the skin. And posture that signals energy and presence rather than diminishment. The order of priority matters. Fit first, always, then grooming, then color, then skin and posture, as the compounding long-game decisions that deliver results over weeks and months rather than immediately. A man who addresses all 5 does not look like he is trying to look younger. He looks like a man who has not stopped paying attention. And the difference between a man who pays attention and a man who does not is not measured in years. It is measured in the overall impression of vitality, intention and control that one man carries and the other does not. None of these changes announce themselves. None of them say this man is trying to look younger. Together they create the impression of a man who is vital, considered and in control, and that impression registers as youth in the minds of everyone who encounters it, without anyone being able to name exactly why. So here is the question I want to leave you with. Of these 5 factors, fit, color near the face, grooming, skin and posture, which one do you think is adding the most unnecessary years to how you look right now? Let me know in the comments. I read every one. If you appreciate honest, practical style and grooming advice for men over 60, subscribe to the channel. In the next video, we are going into the invisible style mistakes that most men make without ever realizing it, the small details that quietly age every outfit. You will not want to miss that one. If this video helped you, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, turn on notifications, and share your answer in the comments below. Your support helps us create more honest, practical style and grooming advice for men over 60.